And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Tuesday, June 14th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain, and many of the stories read here can also be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. According to the Canadian Indian News Service and quoting a CBC breaking news story from Canada, a major police operation was underway involving 500 police officers in the Mohawk community of Kanesatake, Quebec, located about 60 kilometers northwest of Montreal. Both the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Quebec provincial police officers were on the ground, and the target was supposedly organized crime and drug trafficking. Raids were also being done in Akwesasne and Oka, the municipality next to Kanesatake, although it was unclear how many arrest warrants were being carried out. Police are expected to release more information during a news conference at their headquarters in Oka later today. The major drug raids in Kanesatake were the last major drug raids in Kanesatake were in May 2009 when 13 people were arrested on the Mohawk territory. That operation involved more than 300 police officers and was a result of a year-long investigation launched after residents there complained to the police. On Friday, June 10th, the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in California released its ruling in Wheel Camp Recreation Area, Inc. versus LaRance. The main issue in the case was whether an Indian tribe could bring suit in its own courts to evict a trespasser who was not a member of the tribe but who had operated a business on tribal land pursuant to a lease with the tribe for decades. The court found that the Tribal Court of Colorado River Indian Tribes, CRIT, acted appropriately when adjudicating the case. As a result, the former tenants must adhere to the tribal court's ruling. The Ninth Circuit found that CRIT had the inherent sovereign power to exclude individuals from its reservation, and that, as a result, CRIT's tribal court had jurisdiction to adjudicate the tribe's eviction against both the Wheel Camp Recreation Area and its owner, Robert Johnson. Accordingly, Mr. Johnson and Wheel must both adhere to the tribal court's ruling in the case in full and in its entire ruling. The cost of dealing with severe flooding on the Crow Reservation of Montana has forced the tribe to lay off 150 workers. Crow Personnel Director Cale Howe tells the Billings Gazette that the tribe faced the unexpected cost of paying people to help residents in isolated areas and distributing food. He says those costs came on top of revenue shortfalls that had already caused the tribe to cut full-time employees to 32 hours a week. Howe said the tribe is trying to recover the money it paid for flood rescue efforts, but it could take a while. Before the layoffs, the tribe had employed approximately 815 people. The Meade County Commission in South Dakota has decided to ask a state board to reconsider its decision restricting oil drilling near Bear Butte, a mountain in western South Dakota that's considered sacred to many Indian tribes. The State Board of Minerals and Environment in November approved an order allowing Dakota Energy LLC to drill up to 24 wells in a 960-acre field within 1.5 miles of Bear Butte. The board reopened the case and in May voted to revoke the original order and instead allow only 5 wells to be drilled, none of which can be located within the territory of an area designated a National Historic Landmark around Bear Butte. In a letter to the state board, the county commission says it was unaware of any, quote, engineering, geological, or other scientific reasons, unquote, for the board's restriction of drilling. Quote, if the restrictions apply to an area deemed sacred to American Indians, that would include the entire Black Hills, the letter states. If the restrictions apply to that area, that is thousands of square miles and includes large portions of Meade, LaRance, and Butte counties. The Chippewa Cree tribe will hold a special election next month to choose a new chairman after Raymond Jake Parker Jr. resigned recently. Parker resigned last month, the day before pleading guilty to federal theft charges. Parker was accused of charging nearly $60,000 to a tribal credit card between 2009 and 2010, mostly in unauthorized personal charges. The Havre Daily News reports that the Tribal Council on the Rocky Boys Indian Reservation will hold a special election on July 5th. A statement from the tribe said it is regrettable that Parker is in this situation, but his achievements in office will always be recognized. Parker has agreed to repay the tribe. New York State is under another court order, if you can follow that. One day they have a court order, the next day they don't, but New York State is under another court order prevented from taxing cigarettes sold by the Seneca Nation retailers to the general public at reservation stores. The Western New York tribe is the biggest seller of cigarettes among the state's Indian nations. The Appellate Division of State Supreme Court granted its request for a temporary restraining order late last week. The order bars collection of the $4.35 per pack tax on Seneca Nation bound cigarettes until June 20th. It comes one day after a state Supreme Court judge in Buffalo lifted a similar order after rejecting the Western New York tribe's procedural challenge to regulations adopted by the state taxing officials. The Senecas are now appealing that decision. And 7 American Indian students have been chosen for a scholarship program to help pay for their post-secondary education in South Dakota. The Richard Hagan Minerva Harvey Memorial Scholarships range from $1,000 for a single year to as much as $6,000 over 4 years. Recipients must attend institutions of higher education in South Dakota and be an enrolled member of a tribe. This year's recipients include Araya Conoyer, Catiline Hump, Madeline Kerr, Alyssa Lathrop, Dakota Marshall, Lindsley Montalou, and Clayton Reinhardt. The scholarship program was established in 2003 after Minerva Harvey left the proceeds of her estate to the State Department of Education. The late Richard Hagan was a state legislator from the Pine Ridge area. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to say thank you for joining with us and come back again soon.